after last night, Alastair, your destiny in terms of venue is in your own hands now. That's obviously a good thing.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. We hated the Eagles last week when they knocked us off, and then loved them last night. It's a strange situation with it being so tight with the final 8 this year. But yeah, listen, you like to think you're in control of your own destiny right the way through. But you know, with our loss to West Coast last week, it was going to be tough to get a home final at the MCG. But if we're able to secure a victory tomorrow, then yeah, that goal that we set ourselves at the start of the year is realistic.
Groups bounced back relatively well after that loss last week.
Yeah, listen, playing interstate is a hard gig for any side in the competition, and we found that out last week ourselves. And but yeah, we've lost games before, including the qualifying final last year, and we were able to bounce back strongly. So we're hoping to play a better brand of footy tomorrow afternoon. We're going to need to. You know, Collingwood have been in pretty good form themselves over the last 6 or 8 weeks, and played particularly well last week against Gold Coast, obviously, and yeah, they've been in a good vein of form. So we're going to need to play some good footy.
Fitzpatrick, can he emulate the Segel role, or will McAvoy spend more time in the ruck, do you think?
Well, probably a little bit of both. We've always used both our ruckmen in a 50-50 type of capacity anyway. So yeah, he'll probably come in and fulfil that role for us. But as we saw last night with Giles replacing Nat Nui, you know, if any player in the competition comes in and fulfils the role that's expected of them, then they can do the job for their side, and that's what we're expecting from Fitzy when he comes into the side, as we do with anyone who comes into the side. You know, Showmaker's the same. So it's good that they get an opportunity, and you know, they know our structures. They have a good understanding of how we play, and it's really important that they come in and just do their little bit for the side.
Is Showmaker's role set in stone, or whereabouts do you see his role?
Oh, he and Burton and Sicily, we're trying to develop those guys as blokes that can play either end of the ground, and we'll probably see a bit of that with those guys throughout the course of tomorrow's game. And we want to have that flexibility with all our players, that they can play multiple positions, and where we actually play those at any given time will just depend on the balance of the side and what's happening with the Collingwood side.
How important Showmaker's going to be? You probably missed that big presence up forward this year, obviously with Ruffy not being.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's missed a fair amount of footy, and you know, his last 6 or 8 weeks he's just slowly been able to build up some strength back in his body and overcome that groin problem that he had. So yeah, it's a little bit of the unknown, but what we do know is he brings a really strong presence for us when he plays in the front half, and he's capable for us to do some good things in our back half too when we require him to do so. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what influence he has on the ground. But you know, we've missed both he and Roughhead in our front half. You know, they were our premiership full forward and centre forward from last year's side, so we haven't had either of them for the whole year. So to have one of them back at this stage of the year is welcoming for us.
Just in terms of list management's probably the last thing on your mind at the moment, but with Brent Harvey coming up, does that seem an option for you down the track, do you think?
Oh, that's mainly Graham Wright's role, and you know, as coach of the club, we just worry about the here and now, and Wrighty's got a bit of an eye to the future. So at some point in time, with every player in the competition, we'll sit down and make a judgment. But for me, it's not right now.
What do you need to do well against Collingwood? What specifically?
Probably ball supply is the most important thing, Bruce. You know, Collingwood have been really, really strong in the midfield. You know, Grundy's been really powerful, and you know, obviously with Pendlebury and Treloar and Sidebottom, and you know, even the Greenwoods and the Crisps and these sort of guys have been playing some really good footy for them in more recent times, and they've brought a really good injection of young players into their side over the last few weeks that have really performed well. You know, Smith's played some really good footy, and you know, Will's played some really good games for them in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So we're just going to need to make sure we get our hands on the footy enough, and if we can do that, we give ourselves a chance. But if Collingwood control the ball from the middle of the ground, it's going to be really hard. But that's the same with every press conference for the year, really. It's as the same answer. I heard one of the other coaches say, "Oh, yeah, there's going to be one in the midfield." It's like, no shit, Sherlock. I've said exactly the same thing, you know. So yeah, it's a common response, but it's where it's the most important part of the ground.
Is this as even a final series going forward that you've seen in your time as coach, do you think?
Yeah, probably. And I think it's reflective of the ladder positions and the amount of wins. I think when the ladder came through after last night's game, I think everyone had about 16 wins, the top 7, you know. That's extraordinary, and all the you can sort of get blindsided by everything that's going on. What could happen, you know, all the perms and commutations. I'd probably prefer that leave that to the guys that commentate the game, and we just do what we can do, and that's control what we can control, and that's trying to win a game tomorrow. And if we do that, we play a final at the MCG in a fortnight's time. If we don't, then we'll probably be travelling in the state somewhere.
Are all your players aware of that, or you sort of hope they're a bit shielded from it, not worrying about all the permutations?
They'd be aware of it. They're footy fanatics, just like us lunatic coaches are. So, they're in this game to try and win. They set themselves a goal at the start of the year to finish top 4 and try and get a home final, and that opportunity presents itself right here and now. So they're aware of that. So they know the motivation around trying to perform well tomorrow and getting a victory. But it's no point trying to shield them from it, really. You know, but having said that, we've got a game that we need to win. It's not just going to be gifted to us, and we've got to work particularly hard against Collingwood tomorrow afternoon, knowing full well that they've been playing some good footy themselves, and they're going to want to finish their season on a particularly bright note. So we've got to make sure that's not the case.
It'd be remiss not to ask about Jager O'Meara after he said he wanted to come down, especially if it's Melbourne. Do you feel like your club is in a better chance than, say, some others to perhaps take a risk on him, given his injury run? Yeah,
once again, it's a Graham Wright question, and we're probably not in a position as a club right now to have comment on it, to be fair. But you know, he's probably just named number 25 that's been linked to Hawthorn that you guys have read in the press as much as I have. I'm bemused sometimes with all the names that get linked to us. So we'll just sit through that with Righty. It's only just come out this week that Jager's given the indication that he wants to move. It's speculation that it's Melbourne, but I don't even know if it is Melbourne. So Righty will deal with that in the next few weeks, and we'll see what comes out of it.
Good.
Good on you guys.
Thank you.